Let's talk about a new kind of threat, one that doesn't care if you're careful. It doesn't need you to click a bad link or fall for a clever scam. This is the story of a threat that was already inside the house, living in the very tools that developers rely on every single day. Let's dig in. All right, I want you to picture this. It's just a regular Tuesday. You're a developer. You're in the zone, maybe sipping some coffee and just trying to ship some code. You're security conscious, you know the drill. You didn't get any of those weird emails. No sketchy attachments were downloaded. You've done your security training, you know what to look for. And you didn't get fooled by a fake login page or authorize some random third-party app. Nope, you did everything right. All you did was run one of the most common, most mundane commands in all of software development. A command that's basically muscle memory for millions of developers. And that was it. That's all it took to get completely owned. So how does that single, totally normal command spiral into an $8.5 million cryptocurrency heist? Well, that is the wild story of one of the most sophisticated supply chain attacks anyone has ever seen. To really get what happened, we have to meet the villain of the story. It's a self-propagating worm that researchers gave a pretty epic name, Shai-Hulud. Yeah, that's a nod to the giant sandworms from the sci-fi novel Dune. See, Shai-Hulud didn't attack you directly. It was much smarter than that. It attacked the software supply chain itself. It infected legitimate, popular open-source packages, the very building blocks of the modern internet, and turned them into weapons. So here's the playbook. It all starts when a developer installs one of these compromised packages. Now here's the really nasty part. A malicious pre-install script runs before the package is even fully installed. Think of it like a thief picking your pocket while you're still shaking hands. That script then just vacuums up every secret it can find. GitHub tokens, AWS keys, you name it. And then it uses those stolen keys to poison more packages, spreading the infection further and further. The second big wave of this attack, Shai-Hulud 2.0, hit in November 2025. And the timing here was absolutely deliberate. The attackers were literally racing against a deadline. You see, NPM was about to revoke all of its old, less secure, classic tokens on December 9th. The attackers knew they had a very short window to harvest as many of these powerful credentials as they could before they became completely worthless. And this malware was incredibly smart. It knew where it was. If it detected it was running inside an automated build system, a CI/CD pipeline, it would actually pause the whole process, just to make sure it had enough time to steal everything before the job finished. But on a developer's own laptop, it ran silently in the background, making sure that npm install didn't take a second longer than usual, so as not to arouse any suspicion. So clever. And it wasn't picky about what it stole. It was a comprehensive data miner. It scraped all your local config files for things like npm and git credentials. It scoured your environment variables for cloud keys, and it even pinged cloud metadata services for temporary credentials. And get this, if it found Docker running, it would even try to escalate its privileges to get total root access to the machine. Okay, so stealing the data is one thing, but the attackers still had to get it out without being detected, and they needed a way to maintain access to these machines. And this is where the whole operation goes from clever to downright diabolical. This part is just ingenious. The malware turned the victim's own machine into a sleeper agent. It secretly registered the computer as a self-hosted runner for GitHub Actions. Then it committed a malicious workflow file into the code repository. From that point on, all the attackers had to do to run any command they wanted was simply open a new discussion on the GitHub project. Your machine became their server. So, with this perfect backdoor in place, how did they get all those stolen secrets out? Well, the scary part is they did it with incredible stealth. There were no suspicious connections to weird servers, no massive unexplained spikes in network traffic. They used the system against itself. The malware took the victim's own stolen GitHub token and used it to create a new private repository. Then it just bundled up all the stolen secrets and uploaded them as a build artifact to that repository. The entire theft happened inside GitHub's own ecosystem. All the network traffic just looked like normal developer activity. It was just GitHub talking to GitHub. Utterly brilliant and terrifyingly difficult to spot. As if this whole thing wasn't dramatic enough, when researchers finally unraveled the attack infrastructure, they found this quote from Dune waiting for them. It's a chilling little calling card, right? It connects the malware's name to its real goal, controlling the spice of the digital world, the credentials and secrets that make everything run. So far, we've been talking about developers and code.
But this supply chain attack had a very real and very expensive real-world consequence. This is the part of the story where all those stolen developer secrets were finally cashed in.
So during that November campaign, Shai-Hulud compromised a developer at Trust Wallet, and among the stolen secrets was a golden ticket, the API key for the Chrome Web Store. On Christmas Eve, the attackers used that key to push a malicious update to the official Trust Wallet browser extension, completely bypassing all of their normal safety checks. For 2 days, anyone who installed or updated the extension was getting a Trojan.
And that Trojanized extension was built to do one thing and one thing only: steal wallet seed phrases, which gave the attackers complete control. The final bill for this heist was a staggering $8.5 million. And that money was drained from 2,520 individual crypto wallets. This wasn't some theoretical exercise anymore. This was a direct financial attack on real people, all made possible by that one compromise way, way upstream in the development pipeline. The Trust Wallet incident was the big, flashy outcome that got all the headlines, but the Shai-Hulud campaign itself was much, much bigger. Let's take a quick look at the true scope of this thing. The numbers are just mind-boggling. We're talking about over 700 different NPM packages that were compromised. Those packages were downloaded over 100 million times. The worm spread to over 25,000 GitHub repositories, installed thousands of credentials for AWS, GCP, Azure, you name it. The attackers didn't just hit one company. They hit the entire open source ecosystem. So what do we do with this? What's the lesson here? Well, first off, we have to treat those automatic lifecycle scripts like preinstall as a major security risk. Second, long-lived credentials are just a payday waiting to happen for attackers. Third, we can't just blindly trust our dependencies, no matter how popular they are. And finally, our CI/CD pipelines aren't just build tools. They're a critical part of our security perimeter and need to be defended as such. Ultimately, the Shai-Hulud campaign pulled back the curtain on a fundamental truth about how we build software today. We build on layers and layers of trust. We trust our tools, we trust open source packages, we trust our coworkers. And this attack showed us that when that trust is exploited, it can become the single most dangerous vulnerability we have. It leaves us with a really tough question. How do we keep building in a world where we can't afford to trust?